Welcome to the Living Big podcast, where we're all about embracing life to the fullest. Hey, I'm Marlie.
And I'm Kylie, and we're thrilled you're here. We explore how to pursue our passions, nurture meaningful connections, and inject some serious fun into our lives.
We're here to show you you're not alone.
And we want to do what we can to ease the stresses of everyday life and help you in your journey of living big. Welcome back to another episode of Living Big. We're so excited to be here with you today. And before we jump into things, we would love it if you would leave a review or feedback on the podcast, either on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. We would love to hear and learn from you and be able to incorporate your thoughts into the podcast. So if you have a spare minute, we would love that.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's talk about last week really quickly, and then we will dive into this week. I know we gave a really good kind of intro, so I don't want to take too much time recapping. But last week we talked about interconnectivity and relationships and how kind of we became friends and gave some important to us type of things, ideas, topic suggestions, and we're curious as to how that episode was received, I guess. Would love to know, I guess, did you learn something? I guess.
Did it resonate?
Did it help?
Yeah.
Did it not help, kind of a thing? Love to get your feedback on that. So anywho.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So today's episode is one that we're both really passionate about. We have talked a lot about this topic together and separately. We love this topic. And I think that it really is a life mantra for us and should be for all of us. So we're extending it to you, our lovely podcast listeners. And that is to do the thing that you are dreaming of. To just go for it.
Absolutely. Oof. I love this topic. I think for me personally, I just didn't have like a ton of exposure to this kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I think until I moved to Utah, and it's just like entrepreneur city here. Central.
There's a lot of high achieving individuals here.
Right.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Trying to push beyond the envelope.
Right. And so that was like a novel idea when I moved here. I'm from like a small, tiny town in the middle of nowhere, Texas, right? And not to say that people didn't like start their own businesses or things like that, but like it was just a slower, different lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
That's awesome.
There's definitely a time and a season and things that, are exciting for people. But I got here and I was like, wow. This is cool. And you started doing things. And that kind of like got juices going for me too. And it was just like, I feel like I want to do stuff. And people are so hyped here.
Yeah.
About helping, I don't know, just to like support and be excited.
Yeah.
For people's ideas. It's such an incubator.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And I think the important thing for our podcast specifically is that this is for moms, right? And moms deserve passion in their life, and we should always be seeking for things that we enjoy. We're not saying that you have to go out there and start a business or two, because we know, like we said, this is entrepreneurship central here in Utah. But we're encouraging you to do whatever it is that you're dreaming of, to actually do the thing that you have in your mind that you're like, I have always wanted to try that.
Right.
But for whatever reason, you don't take those next steps. And so that's what we really want to talk about today is like, you can have and be and do anything you want.
Preach.
And you just got to go for it.
Absolutely.
And so we were here to be your hype girls today.
Yeah.
To just tell you, like, you can do it. You can actually do the thing you're dreaming of.
Right.
Whatever that may look like. If that is quilting. Yeah. If that's joining a choir. If that is knitting. Whatever it may be, like, in whatever aspect, whatever avenue.
Right.
Find a passion. Own it. And start learning about it and start doing it. Because it's going to only enrich your life.
Right. Oh, I love that. I know for me personally, I I really love makeup and hair and all things like that. And I had this idea where I wanted to do people's hair and makeup for like their weddings or things.
Yeah.
I'd already been asked by a bunch of people and had already done some big events for people.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I should make this a thing. But I was like, I don't think so. Like, I'm not that good. I'm really not everyone's cup of tea or whatever. And I just didn't think I really had like the chops, I guess, to make it happen. And then we were like on a road trip.
Yeah.
And we were like, why don't you just do it? I was like, you're right. I should just do it.
Just go for it.
I should. And so then I like made an Instagram and started posting videos of me doing my own makeup and stuff. And it was super fun. And
I loved that.
Yeah, I got to do people's hair and makeup for weddings, and I still do, just like occasionally for fun.
Yeah.
I do it for fun. That's really what it is. It's just like a passion of mine.
I loved all the content you created. I remember when you did the, like, every single day of October, different like Halloween costume makeup. And I'm sure that was a definite labor of love from you.
Yeah.
But from the content side, it was so fun.
I don't know how I did that.
I don't know how you did that either. Because you had a baby and everything.
I had.
You had Leo.
I think he was like 4 or 5 months old.
Yeah.
He was little.
Yeah.
And I was working.
Yeah.
And I was putting out a new video every single day.
Of a full face of makeup.
Full face of makeup.
For costumes. Yeah.
Every single day of October.
So awesome.
I'm so proud of that.
Yeah.
Looking back at that, I talked to Iker about that the other day, and I was like, how
crazy.
did I do that? And he's like, I don't know.
Like, that was crazy.
That was kind of crazy.
I love it, though.
But it was so fun. And I wouldn't have done it unless I had the hype.
A little shove in the right direction.
Right. I was just like, I'm not good enough to really do that. And so I was kind of like stuck. I was paralyzed thinking that I had to be
perfect.
Like perfect. I felt like I had to already, maybe like my style had to match other people's in order to be good enough. Or maybe I needed to like go to school for that kind of thing. I just like makeup. It's just fun. Yeah. Right. And I just like grew up part of the YouTube group, right? We just watched YouTube videos.
And people were already interested in having you do it for them. Right. So you knew there was already the want.
Yeah.
But that perfection paralysis is so real, though.
So real.
It's so real. You're like, I'm not good enough. So,
so I'm just not even going to do it. No, thank you.
If I'm going to draw like a toddler, why would I draw?
Right.
Like, I'm not going to start that. But if you want to, like, why the heck not? Just do the thing, you know? Just start drawing like a toddler. Whatever that is for
Absolutely.
You.
Oh my gosh.
So
or embroidery. That's something you're wanting to do.
That's something I want to do this year. I really want to get into embroidery. Have I done it yet? No, but we're only like 17 days into January, so we're good.
And that's not because you're paralyzed, right?
No.
Or is it?
No, it's not at all.
Okay.
It's just been a time thing so far. Okay. But I'm going to get into it. Don't worry. I'll show you. You won't want to see.
I do want to see.
But it's just for me. And that's the thing is, again, like this doesn't need to be for an audience.
Right.
It doesn't have to be something for tons of people to see. If it is awesome, like start the Instagram, start the TikTok, start the whatever. But if it's not, like, and it just brings you joy, awesome. Go for it.
Do it.
Don't let the perfection paralysis. I used to have this when I played the piano when I was little.
I still have that.
We had a rule in my family that we all played the piano. We all played a musical instrument. Specifically, it was the piano first, and then we could play other ones. But you had to practice every single day, and you didn't get to quit piano lessons. Like, that was just not a thing. My mom would always say, playing the piano is like brushing our teeth. It's just something we do.
Wow.
In our family.
That's so cool.
I was like, okay. But, I was a very dramatic child. Bless my mother's heart. Because if I hit one wrong note, it was rampage central. Like, you did not want to be near me. You didn't want to be in the house. You didn't want to deal with me. My mom was very patient with me because I was like trying to prove to her, like, I can't play the piano perfectly, so I shouldn't play at all because it sounds like garbage. Watch this. I played a wrong note and now I'm going to cry for an hour. Just like lay on the bench and just scream my guts out. And I thought it would eat up my hour of practicing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have to do it anymore. And that would get me out of my mom's thing.
Yeah.
To have to play the piano and not be able to quit. But no, she would just let me have my meltdown, let me have my toddler tantrum. And I wasn't a toddler.
Right.
And then she'd be like, okay, you ready to keep practicing? And I'd have to keep practicing. And so.
That's so cool.
like, it was really beneficial for me now. Looking back, I was so mad at her. I hated her guts for making me continue to practice the piano and not be able to get out of it with my sneaky ways that I thought were so awesome.
Right.
But now I'm like, she taught me what it means to, like, push through, not quit, and understand that, yes, I'm going to make mistakes and I'm going to play the wrong note, but that's to get me to the point where I can play the song really well. And I couldn't do that on the first try because, I wasn't like Mozart, you know? I was just me.
Mozart probably wasn't even Mozart in the beginning.
No, but I learned to really, really stick it out, and that was really important for my life, I think. So,
Ooh,
I love
that's
that.
so cool. I love that.
My parents always taught us, like, the value of you can do hard things and not give up and not quit. And I really do think perfection paralysis is a huge reason why so many of us, especially moms, are too afraid to try whatever it may be that we want to get into.
Yep. Do you know what this quote is from? Who said this quote? There's a quote in here. I didn't put it in there, but it says, if you're waiting for perfection, it's never going to happen.
No, I don't remember.
Okay. Well, whatever the case, just do it.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll just be like, here's our thought, and just do it.
Yep.
You know? Yeah. Perfection just isn't a thing.
No.
You know? Even when you may be good at something, like, perfection is still not a thing. You're still going to make mistakes.
I used to think perfection was achievable.
So dumb.
And that was really exhausting for my life because it just actually isn't achievable. But I used to think if you work hard enough, you'll get there. No, but nobody wants it to be perfect anyway. Like, it's way more meaningful and way better when it's not. So just diving in, perfection really is elusive. And if you are waiting for the perfect moment, if it's not that you're, like, wanting to do something perfectly, but you're waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect opportunity to launch into something, you're like, oh, I'll have time at this point in my life. It's going to lead to probably inaction because there isn't ever going to be a perfect moment or a perfect time to do something either.
Yep.
Done is better than perfect.
Preach.
So,
Yeah, I love that.
I love it.
The only thing standing between you and your goal is the story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't achieve it.
Yep.
Jordan Belfort.
Wolf of Wall Street. Really intense human being. And he actually says some choice words in that quote.
I was going to say,
but
it's a very clean quote.
But it is true, really. Like, you are the only thing that stands between you and something that you want to achieve.
Right.
Now, you can't blame anyone else.
Now, okay, though, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but I got kids.
Yeah, that's true.
But I got to run carpool. But I have a husband who also needs to be, like, doing things or whatever, you know? Like, it takes coordination.
Yes.
It takes effort. It takes time. We're not saying it's easy.
No.
Absolutely not.
It takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
It's actually hard.
You kind of touched on it earlier. You were taught to do hard things, right? And so when something is important to you, being able to feel that fire will help you to coordinate that thing being a thing, right?
And even, I think it's really interesting you brought that up, even our passions okay, let me think about this for a second. Even our passions can be hard things, or they can be difficult things to achieve or difficult things to fit into our day.
Right.
Just because they are something we dream of or they're a passion doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be like butterflies and rainbows.
Right.
You usually still have to work really hard at it.
Right.
Which, again, may be a reason why some people are like, oh, but if I have to put in that much time,
Yeah.
then I don't want to do it. But again, it's like, it just starts somewhere.
Right.
Like, if you want to play the piano and you don't have an hour to give,
Right.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Those are fair and valid concerns. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't want to discount that for anyone.
Yeah.
However, it can be possible.
And it really comes down to prioritizing what is important to you. Yeah. And I think there is often more time than we allow ourselves to see because maybe there's something else we can cut out.
Right.
Like social media or whatever it may be. There we have our own vices, right? And so it's like, if this really is important to me, once I get past maybe some of the fear, some of the perfection, some of those issues, the paralysis that happens, like
Right.
what else is holding me back? And then ticking each one off to help you launch into that thing is definitely important.
Absolutely.
So,
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Part of the preparation for this episode was I read a book. Right?
Yeah.
That's for this episode, right? Am I thinking crazy? Am I thinking ahead? No. Okay. So part of the preparation for this episode, I became really passionate about it because I read Grit by Ashley or Allison. Oh my gosh, I think it's Allison. I'm not gonna make sure that's right. Sorry, friends. One
you're
sec.
good.
Duckworth. I know her last name. Angela. I didn't even have it right. Okay. Okay. Let me say the whole title.
Okay.
Okay. Part of the reason behind this episode, obviously it's one of our pillars, right? And we talked about our 3 pillars first. We talked about motherhood. We talked about interconnectivity. And now we're talking about passion. Those are our 3 things, right? And everything kind of stems off of those. But I read this book that I highly recommend to everyone because it was so good. It's called Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance by Angela Duckworth. And she just talks about doing hard things and persevering and all those, kind of buzzwords. And she just made it seem so, I guess, attainable. I know for me personally, it wasn't, not to say that, doing hard things wasn't important, I guess, in my life. I just didn't really have to struggle to do things. School came easily. Practicing, I didn't really do it because I could sight read and just kind of fake my way through piano and through oboe and through choir. There were a lot of things that I could just kind of like skirt by, and it was good enough. And it wasn't actually until we were missionaries together that you said you can do hard things.
My intensity coming out again.
That like a light bulb went off in my head. And that has been a mantra of mine since then.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it resonated with you.
Absolutely.
It didn't scare you away.
Me too, because here we are doing hard things together.
But again, like we get it and we really understand. And I do want to share like some stories and experiences of fear and failure and success in trying to do the thing that you want to do. Because the only reason I'm so passionate about this right now is because it has not always come easy for me. And it has been a big challenge that I have always really pushed myself to work on. But it has not been something that was just like super simple for me. Like I said, my family's whole life motto and family motto was we can do hard things. And so we were pushed to do really hard things, but it always was so uncomfortable. And I remember every time just like absolutely wishing that my parents would not like make me do that. It's like, oh, it's so uncomfortable. It's actually reminded me of a song by Andy Grammer called I Wish You Pain.
Oh,
and when you listen to the song, at first you're like, he's like, I hope you fall down. I hope you have hard days. And I'm not quoting this directly, but he's like, I hope, that you have your heart so broken, like you can't get back up again. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. But then it comes into this beautiful moment because it's like, I wish you these things because that is what's going to help you grow. That's what's going to help fulfill you. That's what's going to help round you out as an individual and give you the most empathy and compassion and love and just be a beautiful human. So I really, really love that song. But it was really painful for me to learn this lesson. But I think that sometimes those things are the biggest pillars of our life.
Yeah.
And so, from anything from hiking when I was younger to like I went on my first backpacking trip when I was 9 years old, carrying my own backpack, all my own gear. And that was a hard thing, but it taught me a lot and it made me really passionate about the outdoors and mountains. And I'm so grateful for that now.
Yeah.
And things like my mom pushed me to do Distinguished Young Woman, Junior Miss is what it used to be called.
Yeah.
And performing in front of people was my absolute most crazy fear. Still to this day, I have to work through it, which is funny. Like, I have a podcast, I record myself, I'm all over social media, like, I'm a content creator, I do all these things, I present in businesses, I go speak at events and things like that, but when I was younger, literally, I would get up in front of, I remember one time we had to do an oral report, we had masks that we paper machéed, so no one could even see your face. I had a partner, and I had memorized my little tiny segment, and I stood next to him, and he gave his segment, and then it was my turn, and I just stood there and sobbed. Because I was so absolutely afraid. Go play the piano in front of someone, just sob through the entire piece. It was so scary. But I'm so grateful I pushed through those things because it has really strengthened me as an individual. But it was painful.
Oh.
It was hard.
Yeah.
And we're not saying that, like, diving into your passions necessarily has to be this painful, extravagant process either.
Dramatic.
Right. Like, if it's like, I want to start drawing.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
And no one even has to see it. Like,
but
fine.
if there are some internal battles you're fighting to get to that thing, fight through those. It's worth it.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Ooh, I love that. It's worth the fight. I just was looking up that song because I do know that song.
So good.
You were like, had you listened to that album? And then I have. Okay. I just love it. And I wanted to share just like a little bit of the song really fast.
Yeah, please.
Okay. I hope your fear is thick like poison.
Yeah.
It gets into your blood. Ooh, this is like
gritty.
I hope you push until you cannot breathe and it's still not enough. I hope you put your life out on the line and everybody watches you fall while you fall. Woo! 'Cause I love you more than you could know, and your heart, it grows every time it breaks. I know that it might sound strange, but I wish you pain.
Yeah. Tough stuff.
Ooh, that's way
so
tough.
good.
But it's
Deep.
so good.
I love it.
Yeah. So pushing through the discomfort, the barriers, maybe they aren't barriers. If they are, okay. But maybe they aren't.
Maybe it's in your head.
Maybe it's you.
Don't hate us.
As I'm like thinking in my brain, Taylor Swift.
But it was
I
also
the problem.
I mean, for me,
Yeah.
usually,
Absolutely.
hi,
Would you have become
it's me.
a photographer
No,
without
absolutely not.
Nathan?
No.
It's one of my favorite
Absolutely
stories.
not. Yeah, and I think this is a great one too to like illustrate the fear that sometimes holds us back that's just in our own heads. Because this wasn't about resources, this wasn't about time, this wasn't about anything. I had all the time in the world. I was living in a trailer in the summer in Idaho. And I had plenty of time.
Plenty of mice, too.
Plenty of mice. That's a story for another day.
Yeah.
But before my mission and in high school, I was like carrying my camera with me everywhere. I was one of those little awkward girls. I was like just taking a photo of everything. I loved it. It was so fun. It was a passion. And I just loved it.
Yeah.
And then I came home from my mission, and as we know, Utah is a big photographer state.
It is.
There's a photographer for every square inch of Utah, right?
Deep in the photography area.
If you go to Tipple Fork, you're going to see a million photographers everywhere. They're just everywhere, right? Yeah. You can't even go to see nature anymore. I feel like there's so many photographers. So in my head, I was thinking, and I was rooming with a photographer, I was thinking Utah has enough photographers.
A very successful photographer. Let's throw that out there.
Yes.
Very successful.
Very successful.
Absolutely.
So I was like, Utah has got enough of those. Mm-hmm. And even though it's something I love and enjoy and would love to offer, we don't need it. And so I put my camera in my closet. I remember specifically like putting it in a bag, putting it at the top of my closet in the very back, and just being like, I'm not even going to take it out for fun anymore. And so I stopped taking pictures for fun. I just was like, I'll let that die, like quietly go. Sad. And my brother-in-law came to me one day, and
he wasn't your brother-in-law just yet.
No, he was.
Oh,
Hiram and I were married.
Oh, that's right, duh.
Sister-in-law.
I don't know how
she wasn't my sister-in-law just yet.
Fine. Yeah, she wasn't your sister-in-law. Okay. We're good.
But I had been thinking and toying with the idea of like, I would love to get it back out, but I'm really afraid. Mm-hmm. I'm really scared. I would maybe like to do like a business thing with it, and maybe also just take some for fun for myself. but I was really freaked out. And so he tricked me into taking their engagements.
It can be dangerous sometimes.
Yeah.
When you tell things too, huh?
I had unfortunately.
Fortunately. For me, fortunately.
Unfortunately for myself at the time.
Yeah.
Very fortunate for me now. But unfortunately, I had told him that was something I was thinking about. And he was just like, all right, well, then do it. So he made me. And he said, hey, would you mind taking like 2 pictures of me and Megan for our engagement announcement? Like, we got engaged last night. We just want to say like, hey, we got engaged.
Yeah.
Not even like for our engagement announcements that we're going to mail out to people or anything like that. So I was like, for social media, absolutely, I can snap a couple pictures. And then right before, he was like, oh, and we're going to have multiple outfits, and we'd like to do like the full engagement shoot.
Right.
And pictures, and we are going to actually be sending these out to people on paper. And I was just absolutely terrified because I hadn't done anything like that. My camera had been sitting collecting dust for a long time. Got it out. Went and did it. It was so fun. I loved it.
Yay.
I was like, this is awesome. And they trusted me. And man, I had like the worst equipment. They printed them, sent them to people, asked me to take pictures at their wedding and everything. Like, it was huge for me. And it really instilled this confidence that like, I should just go for it. And the truth is that even though Utah has a photographer for every square inch, everyone here needs photos, and so it worked out. Yeah. And now I take lots of photos, and I love it, and it's super beneficial for my family, too.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful to Nathan.
That's awesome.
Kind of. Just kidding.
I'm so grateful to Nathan because I get all of my pictures from you.
But I learned a lot about, like, pushing past that fear, and luckily, sometimes we have people in our life who shove us over the line.
Yeah.
But you can also do that for yourself.
Right.
So this is to inspire you to do that.
So just do the thing.
Do it.
Do it scared. I feel like that's like in a thing. Like, do it, but do it scared. You know, like if you're scared, just do it scared. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's going to be okay. What's the worst that could happen?
You're not going to die probably unless it's like some crazy hobby.
Right. Probably don't like skydive.
Yeah.
Let's just like have everyone sign a waiver listening to this podcast, but it's fine. Yeah, no, I love that. That's like one of my favorite things because I view you as an incredible photographer.
Oh, you're so kind.
And like I said, I use you for everything.
Yeah.
And you've captured so much of my life.
I'm happy to do it. I love it. It's so fun.
And if, you hadn't been pushed out of your comfort zone a little bit, and if you hadn't really, even within yourself said, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Then I'd be paying way more in photos, and I don't think that I would have very many in general.
Yeah.
Not that I don't pay you.
No, but I also
photography's very expensive here in Utah.
Yeah, and I did want to be more of like everyone can have professional photos, so that was important to me too. Yeah. But I love again, not to like keep hashing that story out, but I love that I had someone to push me.
Yeah.
But then even after, like I remember I took some photos at their wedding and then I went home and sobbed because I was like, I don't know if it went well. Like I don't know if I can edit these. I don't know anything about anything. And that wasn't true. Like I knew enough, but thinking about where I am now and how I got there was because I kept up with it and I kept going with it even after that moment. And so like also pushing through the beginning growing pains when you're like, I want to try this thing. And then you're like, oh, maybe I'm not so good at this. Like give it some time, give yourself some moments to really learn it and get good at it.
Yes. When you do the thing, just think about us telling you, you got this.
You got this.
You can do this. Also, if you do put anything out on like social media and whatnot, we are very active about promoting our friends.
Yeah, supporting our friends.
Yes, obviously like part of that thing, if it is, outside of kind of a hobby type of situation, or if you're like posting about it or whatever, let us know and we will promote it, you know? Like we're
happy to support.
We're just big champions of doing something for the passion of it, right? Doing something that really excites you to your core. It is so like, there's this, I don't know, like this need. trying to come out of you to do something so important to
Yeah.
you. Even if it's so small, like whatever it is, you can do it.
Do something that makes you feel alive.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, we just want you to be passionate about something. It doesn't matter what it is. If
Yeah.
it's video games, awesome.
Own it, love it.
Own it, love it. Like, if it's starting a daycare, you go.
Own
you
it,
know?
love it.
Own it, love it. Like,
Yeah.
it could be anything under the sun. Just do something you're passionate about, and it's going to make your life so much richer.
Yeah. I think my last thought on this is that know that you are worthy and deserving of the time that it takes to do that thing.
Yes.
Okay? I am a recovering perfectionist and people pleaser.
Same. Are we the same person?
I know. We're going to say that every episode.
I know.
Anywho, and it took me a long time to be okay with myself wanting to do things. Okay? Wanting to
do things for you.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like, ooh, I can hype everyone else up till I'm blue in the face, right? Until the sun comes up, right? But allowing that grace and love for myself to be like, I deserve this because I'm a human.
Yeah.
I deserve to feel that kind of excitement for something that maybe no one's going to understand but me.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's so important to give yourself permission
Yeah.
to do the thing. Okay?
I love that.
Yeah.
My last thought for this episode is to let people in on that journey with you. I think like telling people what you're dreaming of, the people that matter, are going to help you achieve that. And I think sharing that keeps you accountable. I think it makes it more real. I think it just makes it more beautiful, honestly, in the long run. Like, tell the people that matter to you what you're hoping to achieve, and they're going to help you grow and learn and do more than you could by yourself. So share your dreams with the people that you care about.
Yeah. The people you love and trust.
Yeah.
The people that you're building interconnectivity with. Just throw that out there.
They all blend together. Maybe you're seeing our vision now.
Yeah. I lied. Last thought here. So all of our conversations kind of stemmed from our Marco Polos, right? We just sit and we talk and we vibe and we bounce ideas off of each other.
It's the best.
And one of the thoughts that came up was that crazy people are the successful ones.
Yeah.
So if you do have a business idea, if you do have a social media idea, content idea, whatever it is, something like that, just know that the most successful people in the world are probably a little bit crazy.
Yeah. So it's okay. Be a little bit crazy. Own it.
Yeah, own it and love that part of yourself and do whatever you need to do to make it happen.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not always easy. It's not always comfortable. And people may not 100% be on board.
Or understand it.
And that's okay. Own the crazy and just know that those people who make our world go round made it happen.
Yeah.
Probably because they're a little bit crazy and they pushed past, right? Mm-hmm. They just did it. They did it.
Yeah.
Oh, some cool stuff.
I think some key takeaways that we want you to walk away from today's episode is remembering that you're not alone, that there is such a thing as fear and perfection paralysis, but it really is so important to just put forth that effort, prioritize something, and be open to that growing opportunity and not waiting for that perfect moment.
Yeah.
And take the action right now. Just embrace imperfection. Know you're obviously probably going to fail at some of the things that you're interested in.
Right.
But just do it anyway.
Right.
For the memes.
Yeah.
Go for it. You're going to learn. It's going to be great.
I'm never going to do a whole month of Halloween looks again.
Yeah.
But I'm so proud of myself for doing that.
Yeah.
You know? I did one person's makeup for Halloween.
Yeah.
That was it. But it was so fun. It was so worth it.
Yeah. So awesome. I love it. I think it's great. And as we wrap up, we do want to challenge you. What dreams are you waiting to pursue?
Yeah.
Don't let perfection or fear or yourself hold you back dive into that imperfect journey, find some joy, find some passion, embrace that failure, be a little bit crazy.
Be a little bit crazy.
Be a little bit crazy because it's going to feel so good when success might just be on the other side and when you find something that you enjoy.
You just got to take that leap, believe in yourself, believe in the people that believe in you, and then it'll be okay.
Yeah. I love that.
And it's going to be great. It's going to be so good for you. You got this.
You got this. Okay, really quickly, a preview of our next episode. We're going to be talking specifically about mindfulness and self-care, which is amazing and important as a mom. And this is going to be specific for moms. And we're really excited to get into that with you next week. So thanks so much for joining us this week, talking all about living your dreams. Thanks for joining us this week on the Living Big podcast. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Join us on Instagram and TikTok for all the things, from relatable mom memes to fun girls' night ideas with your besties.
See you next week!